Oil change on 2001 SV650, one of the easiest things to do. Because it is a small crankcase, you don't necessarily have to, but I always like to take off the filler cap so that it can vent as it comes out. It keeps it from splashing all over the place. So, have the filler cap on the right side of the bike off. Then you come around here. I don't know if it's the stock size, but on my bike, down here, on the left side under the bike, is the drain plug. I already loosened it, but it's a 14 millimeter according to the size that it is. Very simple stuff. If you've never done an oil change before, it's probably the easiest vehicle to learn on. But if you've done it before, nothing fascinating here. Nice smooth consistency coming out. You will always have discolored oil no matter what. If it's like super thick, then you might have an issue. Talking about viscosity, because you might be burning oil and evaporating too much. But if it comes out nice and fluid like this, color doesn't really matter on it. I use AMSOIL. 10W40 is what's used in most bikes, especially the Japanese bikes, but never had an issue with it. I run it for about a year, and then, so you can see, especially as it's not thick, it's actually not that discolored. Coming out real nice. Yeah, I run it for about a year. And on this bike, that's not very much. It's about 4,000 miles. On my other bike, the ST1300 sitting here, made by Honda, it runs about a year as well, and that's closer to about 30,000 miles. I haven't had any issues with it. 30,000, 50,000, depending on the year. I would recommend that you let it take its time and get all the oil out of it. Don't rush it at all. I have a K&N wrench on, wrench off up front here. I stopped using them. This one's been put on a while ago, but I stopped using the K&Ns. I'm sure that it's still a fine company, but for me it wasn't worth it anymore. They had a recall from a bad batch where I guess the welds between the top nut plates and the body of the filter were separating, and it certainly separated on mine, caused me to dump all of my oil on the freeway. Not a good place to do that. And yeah, never doing that again. So I went back to Fram, good old Fram. If you like K&N and you don't want to deal with that, K&N does make the high flow series. The high flow filters, sold at most cycle gears, and it's exactly the same thing without the wrench off. So if you want the K&N but you don't want the risk of the wrench off going bad on you, then you can get the high flow. So while that's still draining, I'll go ahead and take this filter off. Nice and tight. Take your time when you're taking it off. You don't want the ring to separate. If you can, take the filter off and have the drain plug both in the same pan. That's cool. Otherwise, like on my pickup truck, I will wait until that's done, put the plug back in, move the pan to where I can get to the filter, and then let that drain out as well. You can take it off right away. A lot of people do. It's a great way to get oil all over the place. If it's not going to hit anything, like on this setup where it would just go straight down, really doesn't matter. You can take it all the way off right away. I just find this easier because you're going to have to get the oil out of the filter anyway, so that you can actually send it for recycling. I have curbside pickup, but I have to put it in a Ziploc bag, and leaving it upside down waiting to have pickup day come around sometimes doesn't work. So I actually put it on a coat hanger over the pan and let it drain all the way out before I Ziploc it and put it out for the curb. It's pretty much done. So when you spin off the filter all the way, you'll want to get rid of that extra fluid. Like I said, I'll coat hanger this later and actually let it drain completely out. In the meantime, get it enough to where I don't spill anything. Put it in the old box upside down. So, if you're not comfortable getting dirty, put gloves on. I have no problem with it, but I do want to get the old oil off because a big tip that pretty much everyone recommends is when you got your new filter ready to go on, is you take your new oil and you get a little bit on your finger and make sure that you lubricate the gasket that's about to go on. Because what you don't want to do is put it on too dry to where it ends up fusing to the lower crankcase body, because then when it comes time to take it off, if you leave any gunk on this surface here, it starts to cook on, that surface will start to get rough, it starts to go bad. That's definitely not what we want to do. You do want it lubed, but again, I'm cleaning off the old oil just so that the new oil, which isn't as dirty, can sit on it, keep it from getting too contaminated. Yep. And you just take that, line up the threads on it, just give a nice slow rotation until you're sure that it goes on straight. Definitely do not want to cross thread it. Kind of felt like it was cross threaded there. Well, I feel kind of goofy. I had the filter that goes on my other bike that I was trying to put on here. So let's try this again. Much better. So anyway, once you get it on, get it pretty much until it doesn't want to roll anymore. And they have like the little marks here and everything. They used to say that you had to go like 3 complete revolutions over, but they got the color marks on there now. You just make sure that you bring it around one more time so you can see the colors again, and they squish down. You're good to go. Nice and tight. Hand tight. Don't destroy it, obviously, but you don't want it to where anything's going to leak out. Take a rag, give it one more wipe off the bottom, make sure that you're not going to leave any kind of mess down here. And plug's already tightened up and everything already too. Then all that's left is time to fill with some oil. Grab a can of oil. Grab a funnel, put a funnel on a crankcase, maybe like the one that you want to fill up. This takes 2.7 liters, so just pour this in here and get it nice and smooth in there until you can measure down 2.7 liters. Get the light to work with us here on the side there. It's as simple as that. How do you know when you got 2.7 in? That's the difference now. And then if you look at the oil window, well, it's up on the rear stand. It'll be just slightly above halfway there. Good to go. And of course, always return your oil so somebody else can make more money off of it.